Hello, I'm delighted to welcome you to today's digital workshop brought to you by Contract Flooring Journal. Our topic today is all about wood flooring, and I'm delighted to say that we've got three top manufacturers who are going to be represented throughout our programme this afternoon. And also we will have a couple of experts ready to take your questions and answers in the chat room at the end of the presentations. So, without further ado, I'd like to go over and join Atkinson and Kirby, who will introduce themselves and the products that they produce. Let's go over to see them now.
We are Atkinson and Kirby, a leader in hardwood flooring, supplying the highest quality, sustainable floors to projects around the world. We believe the floor is the foundation of an interior design. It sets the style and mood, and a real wooden floor combines practicality with beauty like nothing else. Our flooring collections have been carefully curated following the latest design trends, providing a variety of flooring options to suit every project. We have been passionate about the design, manufacture and supply of hardwood flooring for over 100 years. Today, Atkinson and Kirby remains a family-run business with an emphasis and commitment to quality, customer service and the finest traditions of British craftsmanship. We are proud to manufacture our flooring accessories in Britain. With our mill located in North Wales, we are able to reduce our carbon footprint and provide the highest quality products. Solid and engineered wood floors are the backbone of our business, and we love them. We supply an extensive range of quality timber floors in a variety of on-trend shades and finishes, from traditional tongue and groove planks to herringbone and chevron. Solid floors are milled out of a single solid piece of hardwood with a 5 to 6 mm wear layer. While engineered floors have multiple layers, only the top layer is a decorative hardwood. Engineered boards use less eco-precious timber, making them the most environmentally friendly option. While oak has the incredible ability to withstand the test of time, basic maintenance will increase its longevity, making it even more sustainable. With sustainability and quality a priority at Atkinson and Kirby, we are meticulous in our timber selection and are delighted to have been awarded the FSC and PEFC stamp of approval, supporting responsible and ethical practices. When choosing the perfect floor, there is obviously a lot more to consider than simply selecting a shade of colour or finish. There are issues with suitability. Is it a high traffic area? What is the floor to be laid on? Will there be underfloor heating? These are all areas where we can provide expert advice. The shade of the floor can help set the tone for the whole feel and mood of your space. Rustic, warm mid-tones can create a vintage ambience, while Scandinavian-influenced pale finishes give a fresh, light, modern effect. Dark floors can work well in large areas and can be historic or ultra-modern in appearance. Smaller rooms or rooms without natural light tend to benefit from pale or bleached tones, helping to create the feeling of space. Of course, personal preference is a major factor, and our comprehensive range of timbers means the perfect floor is probably right here. The grade of hardwood is set when the natural logs are selected. The timber is grouped according to the number and nature of features like knots, splits, and grain and colour variances. We offer 5 grades: prime, select, natural, rustic and super rustic. Prime has the cleanest, most uniform appearance, down to super rustic, which is given to our most characterful boards, with large knots and splits being a prominent feature of these floors. The choice of finish determines the overall aesthetic style of the floor. Our finish options include oiled, which has a natural matte finish, and lacquered, which gives the floor a subtle shine. Smooth or brushed are our most common surface options, whilst we also supply hand-scraped and saw-cut options for a highly on-trend craft look. The edge style of boards also has an impact on the overall look of a finished floor. A beveled edge offers a distinctive depth, while a square edge provides a seamless surface. Our range of flooring is divided into 5 collections to help find the perfect floor for the space. Parquet engineered boards echo the timeless quality that can be seen in floors that were laid long ago. Crucially, Atkinson and Kirby Parquet has the added modern advantage of stability and suitability for a range of substrates and underfloor heating. With a choice of sizes and outstanding tonal choice, these can be absolutely on trend, perfectly traditional or anywhere in between. This collection features our trend-led floors to create a contemporary look and feel. Precision engineering combines with a cutting-edge colour and character to make the contemporary collection the future for engineered boards. Some of our most popular timeless designs give the ideal balance of aesthetic flexibility, durable performance and value. With its characteristic emphasis on warmer tones, think lighter and honeyed hues of oak flooring. For some, there's nothing quite as authentic as a solid natural plank floor. The character you can give a space with our pre-finished solid planks as varied as the tonal richness of the wood itself. Carefully selected quality timbers are the canvas for your own flooring artwork. We understand that not everyone wants a ready finished floor, so we have a collection of solid, unfinished strips prepared for whatever fits your own aspirations. Bespoke designer flooring is now entirely achievable. Consider the surface the floor is to be laid on. For battens, engineered and solid boards are suitable as long as the overall thickness is over 18 mm. Laying directly to concrete or on existing wooden floors, any of our solid or engineered boards can be used. In areas with heavier traffic, like commercial buildings, choose a thicker wear layer. For those with underfloor heating, engineered boards provide the perfect solution, while also being more dependable for kitchen and basement environments. We don't recommend the use of hardwood flooring for bathrooms or areas exposed to water, but we do offer a solution of moisture-resistant LVT floors that serve as the perfect solution. So that's a short insight into what we do at Atkinson and Kirby. We're passionate about wood flooring and making sure you have the very best flooring for the job required. We have a team of experts available to assist at all stages, from selection, fitting and maintenance of our floors. For more information, visit our website, akirby.co.uk.
Well, thanks to Atkinson and Kirby. I'm really sorry that they're not able to send anybody to represent them in our questions and answers session, which will be coming up in a while. But if you have questions and answers that our panel can deal with for you, please put them in the message box on the side of your screen, and I'll gather those up for when we go into the chat room. If you have questions that are specific to Atkinson and Kirby and the products that they showed us in their video, then why don't you go to their website and have a look for information there. And they've asked me to emphasize that they're more than happy for you to contact them to ask them questions, ask them technical information. They'll be only too pleased to provide anything that they can. Beauty of questions and answers today marks this program out from what we were doing last week. I don't know whether you managed to catch the live expo that Contract Flooring Journal ran last week at the Fitter Training Centre in Loughborough. It was a 5-hour program, and if you watched it, I hope that you'll have got lots of valuable information. I'm still wearing the shirt, and that's to remind me that throughout the program last week we were watching Paddy McNicholas creating a piece of floor art out of LVT tiles, and we kept going back to it in between the different presentations that we had, and our cameraman actually took a time-lapse photograph from above of Paddy at work. And if you go to the Contract Flooring Journal website and click on this logo, it will actually take you to where you can see that time-lapse video. It's well worth watching. You'll get the interview that David did with him at the beginning and the closing words that I shared with him when he'd finished, but you'll also get what appears to be him beavering away for just a few minutes, when actually it was 5 hours of work, and some of his materials obviously he prepared beforehand. If you missed it this year, well, here's to next year. You watch out for the announcements as we go through our digital workshops over the coming months. I'll talk to you about our next digital workshop after our next presentation, and it's time for us to go and join Richard Aylen, who's technical manager at Junkers, who's going to talk to us about their wood flooring and the different ranges that they do. Let's go over to Richard now. Thanks.
Hello everyone, I'm Richard Aylen from Junkers. I'm the technical manager of the company, and welcome to CFJ Digital Workshop. The presentation that I have for you is solid hardwood floors, in particular Junkers floors, and the environment, which is a very hot topic at the moment, and a lot of designers, specifiers and clients are very concerned with this at the moment. As far as solid hardwood floors are concerned, I think there are two elements to the discussion really. One is the general sustainability of wood, and the other thing that plays into its credentials is its longevity. And in fact, I think solid hardwood floors are very hard to beat in terms of making a good environmental choice for net zero carbon building design. And sustainability and longevity are two issues very closely linked. Just briefly, Junkers is a Danish company started in the 1930s by a forester called Flemming Juncker, and very successfully designed the first beach floors that the company made in the 30s and arrived in the UK in 1965, which is a direct timeline to where we are today. The company is very closely based around forestry management and sustainable use of timber right from the very start. And the current focus on environmental issues has really become stronger than ever, as many people know. The public at large are very concerned. Governments around the globe are setting targets for environmental performance. And building professionals as well, like the architecture profession, the RIBA, have their 2030 climate challenge, which sets out some very clear rules about the materials and the different building elements that designers should be using to try and achieve net zero carbon buildings. To deal with the first of the two elements that I mentioned, longevity, a solid hardwood floor has a very long life, mainly because you can renovate it. So when it wears out, you sand and seal it rather than replacing it. With other types of flooring, you have a thin top layer perhaps that will wear out, that can't be replaced. Engineered boards, for example, can be sanded a couple of times normally, and then you have to replace it. A 22mm Junkers floor, for example, will have 8 to 10 sandings in its life, and that gives it a lifespan of 60 years or more, so it's good for the life of the building by normal definitions. Other floor finishes, typically synthetic floor finishes, carpets, you're really replacing those after 10 to 15 years. Even a 14mm solid hardwood floor has 4 sandings, so that's got a good lifespan of sort of 40, 50 years or so if it's properly looked after. It also means with solid hardwood you get a very low life cycle cost, so the annual cost of owning that floor and looking after it is very low compared with other finishes that you replace more often. With solid hardwood too, you can repurpose it. Occasionally, if a building is adapted or extended and the hardwood floor won't be needed anymore, and there's a growing trade now in taking that and reusing it, so getting many more years useful life from the floor. And Junkers has a buyback scheme that it makes it very easy for clients to take advantage of that. The other general environmental benefits of solid hardwood, because of this longevity, you're reducing landfill, you're reducing the amount of energy that's used for transport, and continuously remanufacturing replacement floors. The timber that we use is all from sustainable sources. So they're managed forests, there's replanting schemes, and we have certificates that give evidence of that. We have FSC and PEFC certificates for all the timber that we use and a full chain of custody. One of the things that is often of interest to people actually is the energy that's used to power our factory, and it's all generated from wood waste. So in effect, the wood we buy, there's nothing is wasted, because all the lower grade material is used in our on-site power station, and that generates enough electricity for the whole site, plus a surplus that's sold off to the local grid. There's a lot of focus on low carbon, low embodied carbon in the materials that are used in buildings, and hardwood like ours is a low carbon neutral material, and we have documents for people that need to have evidence of those credentials. We have EPDs, environmental product declarations, which we can issue to designers and clients to show the qualities of the material that they're getting. Another way that solid hardwood contributes to the environmental good, as it were, is through indoor air quality, because it's a material where you don't really get any off-gassing, any sort of harmful emissions. And we have a certification under the Danish Indoor Climate Labelling Scheme, which actually has recently been accepted by BREEAM as part of their assessments. So BREEAM assessors can use these certificates to get BREEAM credits. And we also have emissions certification under the CDPH, the American scheme. So what that means is that solid hardwood floors are a very healthy and pleasant finish to have in your home or your office or your sports centre or wherever. That indoor air quality was one of the reasons why our floors were chosen for an extra care home project in Exeter, which was designed by Max Ford and Partners. We have minimum use of glue because it's a solid hardwood floor. We're not bonding lots of layers together, so we're not using glues or solvents or anything like that, and materials that we use aren't really derived from the petrochemical industry, rather more natural sources. Other things that we do to round off the environmental picture, we have a corporate social responsibility report, which looks less at the materials that we're using, but more what is the company like as a member of the community. So that focuses on things like employee welfare, pollution from dust, noise, water pollution, that sort of thing. So it just shows what corporate citizen the company is, and that's reviewed every couple of years. And we also have ISO 14001 certification, which is for environmental management systems. So really, I think that brings us very quickly to the end of the presentation. I hope I've shown that solid hardwood flooring, particularly Junkers floors, as far as an environmental choice and a low carbon choice goes, is a very good material to use. It's a ready-made alternative actually for many floor finishes that are used almost routinely. Synthetic plastic floor finishes and that kind of thing, textiles, synthetic textiles, can very easily be substituted for a solid hardwood floor with all the benefits I've just explained. And I think most people will agree that the environmental standards that we're all going to need to adhere to are likely to become more stringent rather than less. And that should confirm, I hope, solid hardwood as being a real go-to choice. But thanks for listening and watching. Hope you found that useful. Please contact us. We're more than happy to deal with any questions and queries you may have. Thanks for watching and listening, and see you next time.
Thanks, Richard, and I'm delighted to say that Richard will be joining us in our chat room later. So if you have questions and answers that you feel Richard can help you with, please put them in the message box and I'll be picking those up and I'll be hosting that session live in the chat room after our presentations have finished. Richard introduced the topic there of sustainability, and you may recall that Atkinson and Kirby mentioned it too. It's a crucial issue in our industry today. It's not only coming to the fore amongst our customers, but actually as responsible flooring contractors and as responsible manufacturers, we need to be thinking about the future of our planet and what's going to be happening to the people who come after us, whether it's our children or it's their children or going beyond. We have a responsibility to act in a responsible way, and that introduces the fact that our next digital workshop, which is on the 27th of July, is focused primarily on the question of sustainability. Start thinking up your questions now. Don't forget to pre-register and join us on the 27th of July at 1 o'clock for our sustainability workshop. And if you go on to the Contract Flooring Journal website, you'll be able to see the programme that's planned for these digital workshops for the rest of the year. I know, for example, that we've got resins and industrial flooring coming up. We've got a session on underfloor heating. We've got more on subfloor preparation. We've got laminate flooring. If you want to know the dates and the events, then don't be afraid to look at the Contract Flooring Journal website. And even register now for those that are still to come, and we hope that you'll join us. Well, we've heard from Atkinson and Kirby, we've just heard from Richard at Junkers, and now I want to go over to Rob Eckersley, who's a director at the Solid Wood Flooring Company. Over to you, Rob.
Hello, I'm Rob, and today we're going to look at the Solid Wood Flooring Company. So, just who are the Solid Wood Flooring Company? Well, the manufacturers of sustainable wood flooring. We've been working with solid and engineered wood flooring since 2004. We have a very clear mindset as to ethical sourcing and replanting. We work with architects, designers, developers and contractors from the conception stage of a project. We want to provide a workable solution for your wood flooring needs. So we'll be there to help with from ethical sourcing to technical details and, if required, value engineering, but more on that later. Of course, being in the timber industry, it's impossible to provide a product without felling trees. Many people will be of the opinion that this means that wood flooring cannot be sustainable. And true, sadly, many processors do not care about the destruction that they cause to the environment. They only care about making money. There are a number of companies around the world that are seeking to further the timber trade and make it a sustainable option. We want to make it absolutely clear that we will never harvest from the rainforest. We work tirelessly with the FSC and PEFC to ensure that our flooring comes from certified forests. Now, this is far more than a simple box ticking exercise on a supplier's questionnaire sheet. This means that by sourcing material from these certified forests, that those forests are managed. The trees that are felled are selected by experts to ensure that they are cut at the right time and that there's no excess deforestation and that there is a rigorous planting process in place to ensure the forest continues for generations to come. This is where a lot of suppliers would choose to stop in their due diligence to create an ethical product. And in fairness, these are excellent ways to do it. Here at the Solid Wood Flooring Company, we wanted to go further. So we teamed up with Gone West and their mission to replant forests across the world. I caught up with James Hughes, their MD, recently. Let's take a look. So hi James, could you tell me a little bit more about what Gone West do, please?
Yeah, so basically Gone West is a for-purpose company whereby we create environmental and social benefits around the world by planting trees and paying people to plant trees. So we've planted over 5 million trees since we were founded in 2013, and effectively we work across 5 of the 6 continents in the world, and we try to basically encourage conservation and exploration of this planet.
So a concern that some people have with other tree planting organisations is, how do you make sure that you're planting the correct type of trees, that you're not just planting one type? A comment that could come from us is the fact that, for example, with our agreement, you're planting oak trees for us. That doesn't mean you can plant oak trees everywhere. So how do you kind of tackle that to make sure that you're hitting the environment in the best possible way?
So cool. So basically we plant 1 oak and 5 natives around it. That depends on who the client is. That's an example of yours. What we do is we do what's called an environmental impact assessment before we plant on any sites. So we do an environmental impact assessment. It's either us directly or our partners, they do it. And then we create a forest plan of the forest.
Yeah.
And then once the forest plan has been approved, we then plant the trees.
Brilliant.
At no point do we ever do monoculture. It's always diverse to create a natural ecosystem in a native way.
So to reiterate, for every tree we use, we'll plant 4. This is in addition to the steps that the forest that we source from are taking to replant their own trees. We also ensure that we use every bit of the tree so that nothing goes to waste. Wood flooring can last a lifetime and bring joy for decades to come. Of course, there's far more to creating a sustainable product than where it was harvested from. That's why we make sure that our flooring is tested for its VOC release, in particular formaldehyde. The E1 requirement is less than 3 parts per million. Our flooring, well, that scores 0.0021 parts per million. A great success. Despite our company name, we actually now only make solid wood boards according to order. Our stocks, which host over 200 types of products, are all from engineered construction. Now, there's a lot of confusion about what actually an engineered board is. Some people refer to it as a laminate, or hold it in mind that it is an entirely false product, that there's no real wood top or anything like that. So let's look into what the differences are between a solid wood and an engineered wood. Solid boards, as you can see, are simply that. A single piece of the same material from end to end, with no glue layers holding it together. An engineered board, on the other hand, is rather more complex. As you can see, there is a top layer of wood. This is made from real wood. It is not photo paper or vinyl. This is also known as the wear layer. We usually make these in 4 mil thickness, which is ideal for commercial use. In some instances, we'll use 3 mil, and 6 mil is also possible, but normally wasteful when factoring in modern finishes and cleaning products. The fact is that people don't tend to sand wood floors as often anymore. Next, you'll have the cross-ply layers. These can be made of various wood materials depending on the product. In our parquet flooring, there are 7 layers to the ply, all bonded together with an industrial adhesive. There are other ways to create an engineered board, such as 3-layer or sandwich, which involve bonding the top layer to a central core layer and then a backing layer. In short, an engineered board is a real wood floor. The advantage of gluing a solid oak or solid wood top layer to that ply layer means that you have a far more structurally sound board. That means we can make engineered boards wider and longer than a solid. You can also use engineered boards on underfloor heating, or if site doesn't use underfloor heating, you can fit an engineered board as soon as it's delivered, provided that it's stored in a temperature-controlled warehouse, which we at the Solid Wood Flooring Company do. A major factor in the difference between solid and engineered boards is the material usage. Consider this scenario. If we were to make a solid oak board that was 20mm thick, we would use 5 times the amount of oak as we would with a 20mm thick engineered board with a 4mm top layer. The finishes would be the same, the wear would be the same, and you get roughly the same amount of sands out of it, but you'd still only produce the same amount of material. At the Solid Wood Flooring Company, we're not here to push a product. Our goal is to help you find a solution for your wood flooring needs. We're here to help you with technical queries, reliable sourcing, and help the industry develop. Our website hosts a huge library of information that's free to access. This includes details on product testing, guides on underfloor heating, issues with screeds and other subfloors, and moisture content, to name a few. We've also developed an app that is for specifiers so that they can quickly access this information and request samples, all in one convenient package. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. If you're listening to the CFJ live event now, then please go to the Q&A section and ask your questions. Otherwise, please get in contact directly. Thank you.
Well, thanks Rob, and as before, Rob is going to be joining us as one of our panellists in our questions and answers session in the chat room, which is about to start. Let me remind you, our next session is on the 27th of July, and that's on the question of sustainability in flooring. So please register and join us on the 27th of July. But for now, if you would very kindly look to the left hand side of your screen, you'll see, as well as the main stage, you have our sessions logo, and if you click on that, you'll be able to go into our chat room where we're going to have our live questions and answers session. If you have some questions, it's not too late to put them in now. We can still pick them up as the session goes along. So I'm going to leave the main stage now, get over to the chat room, and I'll see you there as soon as you can make it. Thanks for being with us.